Welcome to the Make and Design Podcast. I'm your host, Carina Gardner. On this podcast, we're unraveling the everyday joys and dilemmas of design, making, and business. For makers who want to be designers and for designers who are makers, this is your inside scoop to help you grow your business and bring more creativity to your life. So yesterday I was working out and one of my favorite songs came on, which is it Bonnie Tyler? But it's I Need a Hero. You guys like that song? Hopefully you do. I love it, especially in Shrek. Is it Shrek 2? Where it's like they start doing it. It's like the beat in the background gets you really excited and the horses are running. Anyway, if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, you're not missing anything. It's totally fine. Except for you are missing out if you don't know the song, which is I Need a Hero, which I love this song. And it's actually on my running playlist as well when I'm training for a half marathon, which I haven't for like a year and a half. It's a good reminder I need to do it. It's on my playlist. It's because it gets my heartbeat up. It gets me really excited. But I was thinking about the words of that song and how it almost victimizes, like the I need a hero, our ability to be our own heroes. And there's a great book out by Donald Miller right now called Hero on a Journey. And I love the way he talks about heroes, villains, victims, and guides. It's absolutely phenomenal. I love it so much. So much that I think I'm going to dig into that and talk about that with my designers soon here in a Thursday training. But I want to focus with you today on being your own hero. When you say the words or you hear the words of that song and it says, I need a hero, it really suggests that someone else has to come in and save us. When the main person I know personally in my own life that needs to save us from ourselves is ourselves, right? Like I sometimes will not go after the things I know I need to go after. For the most part I do, but once in a while I find myself stuck in a mindset like, who will pay for this particular product? Let me give you an example of this. You guys know I have an ultimate gingerbread house. I actually have an ultimate haunted mansion that I have not put up on my website yet. I need to because we gave it to Ink Club when we had that membership. And but the ultimate gingerbread house is a high-priced product. Okay, most SVGs out there are 99 cents or $1. Okay, that's a very typical price for an SVG. It's always been that way. It's a digital download, and there are certain other products in the mix that like a dingbat set. That's usually $5.99, $4.99, $5.99. That's a really typical price. When I built this ultimate gingerbread house, I noticed there weren't a lot of people out there who were making really big things, really sophisticated things that had a lot of design work and structural work to it that were selling the actual files. There's a few out there and they're phenomenal, so good. But I really wanted to do that. And I wanted it to be a premium product. So I priced it a crazy price. It's not 99 cents. It's not $5.99. It's actually $24.99. That's what we priced it as our gingerbread house. And once in a while, we'll put it on a sale. So you can kind of keep an eye on it on carinagardner.com to see if it's on sale. But we never take it really far down on sale. Why? Because it took a long time to build. It was a long project, has a lot of pieces in it, and I had to make some videos, which we give away for free on YouTube for people to see how I built it, and that way they can build it as well. And so I was like, I'm going to charge this for what it's worth. I know how long it took to make, and I know how long it's going to take an advanced user to make, and I priced it high. And it took me a long time, you guys, to really settle on that price. And some of you might say, well, it is too high. Well, who knows, right? Like, I mean, I put it at that price. Is there someone who would pay more for it? Maybe. Are there people who'd pay a lot less for it? Yeah. So you're kind of like making these judgments. And you know, in business, we're always kind of making judgments based on strategy of what we think will do the best and how we value what we're doing. And, you know, even for my program, which you guys know I talk about all the time, our Design Suite program has a high price on it. And it's because we could either go really, really low and people could never see me, never have a design coach, never be able to ask a question, just get some coursework and call it good. Or we could give a really high-end experience where we're interacting with our members, making sure they're having great strategies, making sure they are winning, figuring out where they're needing help, right? So we could give a really high, amazing interactive experience, or we could give like a nothing experience, and all of that was going to be determined by price. And I just knew as a university professor what I wanted. And that was what I would want in a program. And I pay for really expensive programs. And the reason I do is because someone gets back to me quickly. If I'm stuck, I know exactly what to do. Someone just asked me on my, like on my Instagram feed, they'll ask questions. People always ask questions that are like things you don't tell unless you are in a mastermind. Like I will find out from my mastermind what softwares they're using, right? And I'll be like, oh, that's the software I need to use in my program, right? But those are the things, that's the kind of information that gets passed around within programs. And I knew that if we never talked to our members, then they wouldn't know those things, right? But if we talked to them all the time and we knew what they were doing, we could be like, suggest, why don't you go try out for this store? What if you go do this? What if you go do this? And we could give them a more interactive experience. And that was really important to me. And same with any experience you have. Like if you go to college, right? Some of you, all of you, maybe have you done a bachelor's degree, right? So you do a bachelor's degree, and what do you have? You have teachers who look at your work. You have teachers who grade your work. Now, some of you pay a lot for college. I know my alma mater costs $60,000. That's what a master's degree costs, right? So not a master's degree. That was my undergrad degree. Yeah, I taught at the University of Minnesota as an undergrad degree. My master's degree and my Ph.D. were substantially more. So that is what I'm talking about. I get a teacher who grades my work, who sees me in class and gives me this certain experience, right? And so at the end of the day, I just really feel strongly that the person that we should be in, really bringing into the mix as the person who can be our hero is ourselves. That's all there is to it. Why not? We get to choose our lives. If you've been on this podcast or the YouTube channel for any amount of time, you've heard me say, we get to choose our lives. We get to choose what we're going to do with our lives. And the only way to drag ourselves out of a bad situation, or maybe even a confusing situation, or maybe a situation where you're not sure what your next steps are, is to make decisions and be the hero in our own lives. Now, if you want to learn more about heroes and stuff, I can't recommend enough. I really liked Donald Miller. I think he has a great program for business owners. And I think that you have the ability to really look at your life and treat it like you're the main character. You're the protagonist. I am always surprised by how many people do not treat their lives as they are the main character. They are the protagonist. That someone else out there is more important than me. Guys, you are absolutely important. You are living this life. You are having a unique experience. And you should go out of your way to remember that you are the hero. So that means you get choices. You get to change what you are doing. You get to keep doing what you're doing if you love it. And I think it's a really powerful thing. Now, why am I talking about this? Because, I've been in a few different industries, but I've been in design the longest, and it's always been the overriding thing that I'm in. I've worked for lots of companies that had male business owners, and it's just interesting to see. It's not bad or good, just interesting to see how different organizations behave and the people in those organizations behave. And it is interesting to me that artists and creatives, we tend to downplay our skills, our creative ability, and our worth. Our worth is probably the thing that concerns me the most. Because if we do not think we are worthy of making money, of living the life we want to, then we do rely on someone outside of us to tell us whether what we're doing is good or not, right? And so that whole idea of I need a hero becomes much more distinctive. It becomes something that we rely on when we should be internally finding ways to be the hero on our own journey, as Donald Miller would say. So I highly recommend, first of all, I highly recommend the book. I think the book is fantastic. But second of all, I just recommend that you do a little self-awareness. I feel like I ask you this on the podcast or the YouTube channel pretty often, which is like to do a little self check-in, because like I know that if I'm not paying attention, my self-awareness is off, then I will impose some of the things that I believe on other people, right? I mean, part of this podcast is to help give you mind shifts and all of those things about design, teach you the skills that I understand and know. But there are other things in my life that, it's just an opinion, right? There's some things, lots of things that are just opinions, you guys. And so kind of figuring out where you stand, what motivates you. I know a lot of you come to this YouTube channel and the podcast because it motivates you, which I love. That's one of my goals, is to help keep you motivated so you're still designing. But really digging into a little self-awareness about where you are, what you're doing, how you're doing it, and your own self-worth. Because the more worthy we feel, the easier it is to actually be non-judgmental of others. I'm not saying I'm great at that, but very much try. I'm having a human experience just like you guys. Definitely trying to live our own lives and not be affected as much by others' opinions of us, which is, wow, really hard, guys. Really hard, especially as artists and creatives, because people have opinions about our art. People have opinions about our creative work. They do, okay? And so kind of getting that thick skin is hard, but that's part of a hero's journey, is it not, right? As a hero is going through, their lives are not perfect. And if anything, the hero has more trials than anybody else, right? A hero goes through big up and downs. That's what makes a story so interesting. I love it when a hero has a down cycle and then he has a huge win, right? That up and down is what makes the story interesting. And so if you think of the trials and the hardships that you have in your life as part of your hero's journey, and that you don't need someone out there to build this hero and save you bit, right? That you internally are going to save yourself, right? That you're going to get yourself to a place where you're designing and you're building your business and you are profitable and you're doing all these things so that you can rely on yourself as well as other people, right? I think there's something to be said about mutual love and experience, right? But like identifying yourself as the hero in your story, I do think it changes everything. I think you behave differently. I think your decisions are different. Try it. I'm going to challenge you. Okay. I don't actually do very many challenges on the podcast and YouTube channel, but I'm going to challenge you. This is my challenge to you. My challenge to you is to, in the next couple of days, pay attention to the decisions you make and qualify it as a decision whether a hero would make it or someone else would make it. Would a hero make this decision? I'm talking about little decisions, you guys, like that kind of matter in your life, right? Like maybe, I was just thinking this, I'm doing this podcast and my daughter's still asleep and it's 1:00 in the afternoon. As a hero, do I go up and force her to wake up and make her do what she needs to do? Or do I just let her keep sleeping because it's summertime and she's a teenager and I'm just kind of letting her live her best life right now? I don't know. I don't know what the answer is to that. And no one's going to know except for yourself, right? That's part of the human experience, right? We're all here having this human experience. But instead, the challenge is to kind of look at all these decisions that you're making and kind of think like, what would a hero in my story do, right? Like, how does this relate to me? And I do think, I think you'd be surprised at how many decisions you make that are like, oh, I make the same decisions. Or, oh, I don't feel like I'm this kind of mom. I think I'm this kind of mom. And that means that I will have these kinds of actions. That's the kind of hero I am in my own story. So if you think of it, I think if you can have that mind shift around this, like I think you will live your life a little bit differently. I think you will think of your life a little differently. And it'll just make you more self-aware of what really is possible. Guys, thanks for joining me today. I hope you had a wonderful time. I can't wait to talk to you soon. I hope that you take this challenge, and I hope you're a hero in your own journey, because I just think it's super powerful. And I'll see you guys soon. Hey, did you know that you can visit me at makeanddesign.com to learn more about this podcast and join my VIP group for weekly freebies? I can't wait to see you there.